A scuba diver whose grandfather was the radio operator of the first British merchant ship to be sunk by the German Navy in World War I, has spoken of the honor of diving on the historic wreck. Christopher Lees, 61, of Llanarmon-yn-Iâl in Denbighshire, is the grandson of Alan Lees, who was the City of Winchester's radio operator, which was sunk off the coast of Oman in 1914. Mr. Lees received the opportunity to dive the wreck thanks to a fellow diver, Steve Dover from Leamington Spa, who has just won a top award for his work to research and preserve the wreck over the last 20 years. Mr. Dover has been awarded the British Sub-Aqua Club's PSAC prestigious wreck award, almost 20 years after he bought the wreck of the City of Winchester for £1, in a bid to preserve its remains. The ship has lain in 30 meters of water, in a bay of one of the remote Llanarmon-yn-Iâl Islands off the southern coast of Oman, since it was sunk in 1914. Mr. Dover, 60, discovered its existence in the late 1990s and negotiated with the then Secretary of State for the Environment, Glenda Jackson MP, before handing over a cheque for £1 for the wreck to the government of Oman. He then organised and led 2 Royal Geographical Society expeditions to the islands, with half of the team being marine biology students of Oman Sultan Qaboos University and the other half British support divers. The 6,608-ton British cargo steamer, which was loaded with a cargo of tea and antlers, was captured by the German light cruiser SMS Königsberg on August 6, 1914 before being scuttled off Llanarmon-yn-Iâl Island with no loss of life. One of the dive team was PSAC diver Mr. Lees, a project manager with a high street bank, who began diving with Flintshire Sub-Aqua Club PSAC branch, in 1996 and contacted Mr. Dover after spotting an article about the expedition in a diving magazine. They met, and Mr. Lees shared his grandfather's diary about his time on the City of Winchester with Mr. Dover. He said, "I wasn't sure I'd be accepted as I had only been diving for 2 years and was only a sports diver at the time. I began with Flintshire SAC, which at that time trained at Connors Quay but have now moved to Llanarmon-yn-Iâl, as my grandfather, Alan Lees, had been the radio operator on the City of Winchester when she was captured and scuttled. I really wanted to be involved and dive on the wreck. My grandfather passed away in the mid-80s and I spoke to him many times about his experience on board the City of Winchester. He was employed by Marconi and had vivid memories of the ship's capture in the Aden Sea Lanes and its later scuttling. He could conjure up wonderful pictures in my mind through his memories. It had all happened so long ago, in an area so rarely visited. The idea I would one day be holding the handrails of the City of Winchester was something beyond my wildest dreams." During the days spent traveling and helping to establish the expedition base, I could hardly believe I was about to visit the very ship my grandfather last saw 84 years ago. It came home to me when we arrived for the first time at the dive site and realization dawned. I was seeing the same mountains and coastline, and probably with similar levels of emotion, my grandfather had seen so many years before. He added, "Descending the shot line and seeing the City of Winchester for the first time was an awesome experience. The portholes were intact and to hold the railings where the crew, including my grandfather, would have watched foreign ports coming into view was incredible. It left me feeling closer to my grandfather. It's almost as though the two of us have shared them in some small way." My grandfather watched the ship go down as he and the rest of the crew had been taken prisoner. To actually see the wreck of the ship my grandfather actually served on was just an amazing experience.